When I first came to Kamere, I was not so excited about this place. I was not. And that was about 15 years ago, maybe. I was young. I think I came here for a date, just doing life, and I did like it very much. And then, consequently, after maybe 5 years, I came back, passing by, passing through, having friends that live here, saying hi, having errands around, work related, and I never thought I would come to live here. It's a place, I don't know why it didn't excite me, but hey, I'm in Kamere now for almost 5 years. I went to Saudi and came back to Kamere, so I'm here. And I'm learning so many lessons from my Saudi experience. And one of them is appreciating places. For example, look at where I'm going to give an episode today, from nature's best. I love nature. I'm an environmentalist. I'm trained. And it is just here, just around. I'm somewhere in a kahil that I'll share pictures of. And it's so beautiful and so serene. And yeah, Kamere is not that bad. Maybe I looked at one, I never explored it wholesomely, and I'm learning how to continue looking things intentionally with other perspectives, you know. Anyway, I'll attach a video here. When I heard I was going to Saudi, and I was in an office somewhere in Nairobi, Queensway building, Karibu Hilton, and I was handed a paper, and in the paper it was saying, you have signed to commit yourself to start the process of being a Saudi maid, a house help in Saudi. My heart was so crushed. I don't remember my heart being more crushed than that day, but I was like, hey, maisha imenifikisha hapa. So what do? I did what I had to do. I gathered courage. Any Kenyan, Saudi is like a death sentence. Honestly, it's like I was presented with death. You're presented with an opportunity to die, and you accept it. It's definitely daring death. Have you seen how our girls come back here? Have you seen the warnings we get all day, every day? Don't come, don't come, don't come. And as I was in that office, we were millions of us, very many girls unemployed. And sometimes when I complain, people keep telling me, you are better off, and I am. I saw girls that are in very bad situations. They were unkept. Girls that you could tell Saudi you would rather they are dying than live in the conditions you are at the moment. Girls who are in need of work. And I took that as a challenge. Could I survive in the most dangerous place? Ningejitambua, you know? And niko hapa, ninajitambua. Wamo, number one, uno. Nilienda huko na tukasumbuana na nikarudi. Alive, man. But it has a lot of consequences, because as you can see, I even didn't want a fly to know I was in Saudi. And at where I'm at, every day I cannot even turn or be alive every second without remembering I'm in Saudi, because my life have changed so much. Anyway, long story short, I started, when I opened up my heart to going to Saudi, and I started doing a lot of research, knowing what to do, what not to do, what could get me killed, how girls were surviving. I remember I had known how to drive, so I was like, maybe I'll go there and tell them I have other skills, you know. Maybe I'll go there and tell them, hey, I'm not only a watch, not only know how to wash and clean and cook, I can also drive. And there's a video of me telling my brother how excited I was, looking forward to go meet big Arab cars. And them Arabs have cars and they drive like crazy. Hello, Kadamas and Shakalash. Arabs drive like crazy. I'm telling you, tulikuwa sijui tunaenda karibu speedometer yote on their roads. They drive. And when I saw that, I was like, hey, maybe I need some more training. And one of the things I keep saying is I felt like they knew me more than they were letting on. And if they didn't know me, I felt like they had hacked me, because I remember one time I watched that video and seeing the reality of where I was. A woman doesn't even go out of the house. You can't even go buy anything, even a pad. You will have to send the man or be accompanied by a man, no matter the size of the man, when you're going to shopping. And I was like, well, I think I had overstretched. I think I overstretched my hopes. Saudi is, like I keep saying, if you're following me on social, it's a man cave. A lot of things there is, a woman is controlled. And the more I was living there, the more I was like, this is not a place. Having lived in Kenya like this, Jasi, nimetoka place yangu ya kazi, I can take a break, come breathe some fresh air from nature. I think if you're a girl and you get to watch this, I don't know what you're going through. And I'm learning, people go through hard seasons, but no matter, takama ni mjengo juu watu wasichana wengine walikuwa wanalia juu wanajenga. Wewe fanya hiyo mjengo, lakini usiende Saudi. Saudi imenibadilishia maisha vibaya. Naishi vibaya, na no wonder I'm taking my time to share so that I can save another girl. I didn't get good counsel, but from experience, because I care for the next girl, this is for you. And also, since I went there to do my research, I was wondering what is wrong with this place. This is me sharing my findings. So I remember as one time I was watching that video and remembering what I was telling my brother, and thought how that was impossible. The next day, a lady from the family says, do you know how to drive? I'm like, why did you ask that? Why did you ask that? That was us, you know. The previous day I had watched the video and thought how that was overachieving. I had thought I would go drive there to get an opportunity. Women don't do shit there. And I was like, the next day the woman asked, do you know how to drive? And I'm like, why did you ask that? I don't know how we maneuvered through that, but she said, that day I remember being offered an opportunity to drive, and I didn't do so well. I was nervous, of course, being around Arabs. Unajua Waarabu, umesikia stories za Waarabu wa Saudi wewe. Sita najitambua, mimi ni brave man. I was still getting used to them. I didn't want to show up so much. And girls were advising each other and telling each other the more. And things are crazy about girls being hacked, because these people keep telling you things. And you're like, how did you know that? You know? So anyway, when I was offered the opportunity to drive, I didn't do so well. Because I was not so experienced, and also I was in a foreign country. And the more I was living there, the more I was thinking women don't do anything there. But the next few days, a woman came driving, and I was like, hey, a woman is driving. So women take a lot. Women in Saudi, it's like a fight to get to do things. And that's why I told you, as I was researching, I would meet Saudi girls running from their own fathers and their homes. And here I was boarding a plane to go there, and I was like, enyewe maisha inakusukuma, unafanya decisions zingine, niko like haithuru. And as I'm regretting my decision and going through a hard time as a consequence of experiencing Saudi, I'm learning also, you cannot be so careful in the world. When you get an opportunity to come here, you have to view every challenge as an opportunity to show you can overcome. And I'm glad I overcame Saudi, you know. Now I walk around like, if a man comes to me and I'm like, we, unajua unachezea mtu ameshindana Arabu wa Saudi na akashinda wewe, calm down. So I have things to brag now. I have added something to my list. I'm an awesome person, you know. So anyway, I didn't do so very well driving, because first of, it was women were not doing so much around, so it felt like a big deal. And also I was not very experienced, and it was foreign, and yeah. Another thing, as I was continuing to get used to Saudi, is when I left here, I had graduated for about 7 years, and I had not managed to hold on to something work, you know. So when I left for Saudi, I was feeling unskilled. I was trying to find out what was wrong, where I couldn't manage to get out of places I had worked for in good faith, you know. When I left here, I had just left a previous workstation, and I had left it in a bad blood, and it was family. I was working for family, and when I left, we left in bad blood, a lot of bad blood, and I was like, am I a problem? Have you ever sat someone and ask yourself, are you the problem? Am I the problem? Because in a series of the works I had managed to get, I always left having quarreled with my manager, and I was like, is there something I need to reflect on? So as I was in Saudi and learning how to be humble and doing work that I was so highly overachieved for, you know, I keep saying I did well in school, so having reached to a point of being a maid in Saudi was very hard for me. So one of the things that came out in Saudi is relationships. How do you nurture relationships? How do you nurture relationships? And how do you ensure that when you are employed somewhere, you don't always get out quarreling or in bad blood? I was determined, you know. And as I was determined, remember I was being tempted left and right. Saudi kuna story mingi za wana wababa wa Saudi wanaturikoya tuvae tujifunike. Wao wanachokoza sana. Many guys who have given testimonies of men being very sexually expressive with them. I have heard, I was watching a video where a woman said when she was left alone with the man came naked to her, you know. So I feel like there is a lot of sexual harassment from men who require, it is not balanced. And this is where I take the male prejudice. Even back home, men require us to do so many things so that we don't provoke them. But meanwhile, they don't regard us, they don't relate to us with the same respect. I have had very many instances of sexual harassment in job places, you know. And I have had a cry to that to God, and because as I was considering the relationship issues, you know, and how I was determined to finish my contract and leave a place that is used to have so many bad stories, I was determined I was like, mine is going to be a good one. Mine is going to be a good one. You know, people keep telling me I'm negative. I went to Saudi and believed I could come back alive. I went to Saudi and believed I could become friends with Saudis, and I was winning, you know. As time was going, you know, they even allowed me to drive. Hey, how many of you have been allowed to drive a Saudi car? I was allowed, you know. And I think my father, as much as I'm suffering, I think I was able to create a very good rapport with my family, my sponsor family, and I think I made mistakes and I was able to get away because I was able to cultivate my human currency. I was able to provoke some good emotional connection with my family, and I think that was saved me because I fell. Baba kept coming at me, and when I left Saudi, I was almost getting ready to be married, I had entertained him, I had fallen. And those who keep asking, baby baba nakaaje, kama umeona Simon wa America's Got Talent, attached. That man looked like that, so I was like, damn, this man is fine. And that's a girl who was, I think I was 29. I celebrated my 29th birthday in Saudi. And I remember crying that day. I was like, God, I have done everything a girl could ever do. I keep failing. I keep failing and failing. And I remember saying, now, ata niko hell. I said, like, I was thinking I'm in hell. Honestly, because Saudi, ata ukikaka, I keep saying girls just send fear to each other all day, every day. I would go into the internet and every day you'd receive news of girls who had having been cut, killed, going back home in caskets. Every day. It was tough. It was pressuring. But here I was still maintaining positivity. I did that, So I was really worried about relationships because Baba was becoming, I think I was really liking him. He was becoming something I would look forward to. Remember, this is an episode where I said I was caught with him in an action of romance, and I was not caught, my guys. So I was like, is the family liking me? And I kept saying the women started bringing stories like to say they were liking me more than they liked the wife. And as time went by, there were more incidences of me and the wife being nika tulikuwa tunajaribiwa tuone vile tunaweza relate. And I'm a very bright girl, God bless me with a good mind. I am sharp. You don't have to tell me what's happening. I can look at this, and anyway, it's human nature. Most of us, we can also get messages even when it's not being communicated. For example, ukiingia kwa nyumba upate uongeleshi, unajua kuna kitu umefanya mbaya. Non-verbal communication. So, mimi nikienda pale nione, I'm telling you, I went to Saudi during the time of COVID. I never used to think COVID affected me. COVID made me lose my job. And COVID took me to Saudi, And I remember the day I got COVID shots. And the first jab got me some kind of sickly. I was not feeling well. And the Baba came out from nowhere and brought some. He was like concerned and said, hey, how are you feeling? He used to show concern. And I was like, damn, this man also likes me. And I was like, okay, maybe I'll get a good story from Saudi, But I was being careful. And I also said, the relationships between men and women are complex, because even back at home, kuna akina baba ambao huwa wanaoa babibi wawili, watatu, wanne, unaona? So when this man kept showing up, and remember I'm 29, one of the things that I was crying to God about was relationships. Not only, I had not managed to maintain a romantic relationship, and also I went to Saudi when I had bad blood with some of my family members. So I was like, am I the problem? Am I unable to relate well with anybody around me? So I was concerned. I was very keen not to destroy any relationship within even the women we had made friends. These women had become my friends, and ukiwa huku Kenya uone Mwarabu na hizo picha ya kutisha. Mama wanajifunika mpaka hapo unashangaa kwani nani wanakuanga huko ndani. I got to know the women inside their abaya. I got to meet women who were very well. They wanavaa vitu poa poa, but wanafunikia, they can't go out and show off. They only show each other, and it's family. The only people you meet in Saudi as a Saudi girl are your family. The movement there is very contained. So I was like, I got to know these women who we have videos circulating everywhere of them cutting up people, and I saw a side that was soft. And I started to relax. I saw women who are liking me, honestly. We used to joke around. They used to give me, I think I had 10 passes. And one of the things that I'm learning about me is also I have a gratitude problem. Those women used to gift me, they gifted me. I had almost 10 new passes from the women. They liked me. Honestly. I could tell they liked me. So, I was determined not to destroy this relationship, and here was Baba coming strongly. And from the first instance, we were caught, and I went scot-free. I became relaxed. So one time as I was looking at this image that looked like Simon of the America's Got Talent, the judge, I was like, damn. There was a time I grabbed this man and kissed him, I was like, when nilijitetea nikanunuliwa, a lot of stuff in Saudi is like a fight. So when my sponsor finally agreed to buy me data, 100 riyal, I was so excited. I was like, yeah, I'm starting to get somewhere. My stresses were punguaring one by one. So whenever he used to bring this 100 riyal to tell me, hey, this is for your data, he used to bring it in a special way, this is for your data. And I was like, thank you, Mr. Handsome. This is the time I grabbed this man and kissed him, And this is Saudi. So as I sit here sometimes, I don't know if I dropped the ball. I don't know if I was very courageous. I don't know if it was, I don't know if I should act a movie of Stero somewhere, because have you seen the way even tourists are? Hey, tourists, there are so 1,000 rules when you go to any Arabic countries. Even taking pictures. The Arabs have 1,000,000 rules about engaging with anything of theirs. And here I was. People that don't even meet. Men and women don't mix. It is they are so disciplined in terms of men and women meeting. I think the biggest crime you can commit in Saudi is a sexual crime, And here I was, grabbing a man like in the movies, and expressing myself as a woman who had developed feelings. And I'm like, this man kept coming to me and provoking me and tempting me. And the moment I returned some of the feelings he had started to make me have, I started getting videos. My friends started posting I was stupid. So I was like, is it not okay for a woman also to express herself? Even back at home, men have girlfriends. Men are married and have girlfriends. Wewe kama wife unajua hata ma girlfriend huwa mna chat. But wewe ile siku atajua uko na kitu kingine hapo, you can even die. So I'm like, I have a fight with God. I have a fight with God and the unfairness that is there when it comes to punishing men mistakes and women mistakes. So I was like, yeah, Baba had provoked me. I was starting to develop feelings. Everybody was playing along. I was being led to believe I could be accepted in the family, but I was, in the back of my mind, I was like, siwezi sahau niko wapi, unajua? Na kuna kavoice kalikuwa kanasema, waku anao, natienda akulila mani. When there was a time I almost died, and I was so sad because I had not even achieved anything. Half of what I was unemployed, I had not gotten a family, and we pray. There are things we pray for when you get an opportunity to be alive, and one of them is I want to have a family one day. I want to conquer all my fears of maintaining relationships and have a family, and I also want to be successful. I have always wanted to be great. I wanted the name wa mo ukisikia baby wa baby anajulikana. That has always been something that is inside me. So when death came knocking, that during this experience of Saudi, I was like, damn, baby gatuike kedo, And as I'm here struggling with a lot of changes in my life after experiencing Saudi, I'm like, the reason I'm not still mad because I almost went mad is I am determined to have I am determined to make Beth great. I want the name Beth. Nataka Beth, ukisikia Beth na muone hii sura yenye wakati mmoja nimeifanyia kazi nionyeshe juu. I keep saying I grew up with self-image issues. I want Beth to win. I want Beth to win all her challenges of life, Nataka hii sura ikionekana ijulikane, muitambue na ipewe heshima, unajua. Nataka better represent something. And this is why maybe, and one of it is like I decided, why am I wasting my Saudi experience when there's so much to say? So I felt like when my friend started harassing me and I saw a video where a girl had been tempted the same way I was and she gave it to the man, and when they finished, the next thing I know is that she was being cut up live by women. So I was like, in my mind I was asking now, surely, that a man and a woman were enjoying one activity that is considered sin. But after that, only the girl was cut up into pieces. And the man left, and I keep saying, like, the first incidents where we were caught with Baba having a romantic encounter, Baba ran away and left me the women, and the women, hata hapa, mwanaume wakati wanatugonganisha, yeye anakuanga mahali akikunywa bia yake, anafurahia venye nyinyi mnapigana. So I think it's a wake-up call for women, and I think my thinking saved me, because I remember looking at that video and saying, but there are two people enjoying sex in this video. Why is it that the girl is always the sinner? And I remember my friend returning, and I tell you, I felt like I was being listened to. Someone was listening to my thinking. I remember after that, my friend sending and saying, hey, they no longer do this in Saudi. And I was like, thank God, because that I feel bad for the girl who lost her life like that. They should have both lost their lives. They enjoyed sex, the man and the woman, only the girl died. And I'm an advocate I'm a feminine, and I don't hate men. I just say there is obvious privilege of coming male. And that's what I'm trying to bring light to, and to tell our male counterparts, hey, we are here, we are women, we love you, but I think our experiences will continue being better if you listen to this. This is our experiences with you, and we want you to change this and this and this. So anyway, I expressed myself as a female, and all I could see is my friends posting all the time, kuja huku wakaacha akili Kenya. It was like a warning, like 5 of them would post. But I was there thinking, like, why would I be the sinner and not the man? Because I would always be in my room and he would be coming, and he was my friend. Your images, he was a beautiful man and old, and he, amongst all the men, and he was not the only one who kept coming at me with sexual advances. I told you, his brothers used to do the same. And amongst all the people I had encountered, I had liked him the most. He used to, I don't know, maybe it's looks bias. Sura pia, mtu anabarikiwa na vitu zake. I liked him as a person. I liked the way he presented himself. And he was the person who oriented me. And he was the person who was paying me. So, yeah. Ow! I rode a bike and my behinds are in pain. And I'm sitting on a rock. You can imagine. Anyway. And I was thinking how everything... Anyway, I'll talk about the lessons I have learned after going to Saudi, and it's how we expect life. When you come out of school, automatically get a job, automatically be rich, have a car on the road. And this is like a manual I'm presenting to a young woman, a young man who is uko mtandaoni, uko huwezi tulia, unataka mapesa uingiziwe kwa M-Pesa. I will talk about the unrealistic expectations we have about life as young people. And I think the whole Saudi experience has brought so many things to my attention, which I'll continue sharing. So I was like, the moment I expressed myself and my feelings, I was in danger, and I felt that was unfair. And I think my thinking, they always listen, and someone was just always responding, because I remember, and other instances of people almost listening. I had my own room, and I thank God it was so nice to have my own huge room, beautiful, I could do my things. And sometimes, because I had my room with a bathroom, I used never to time, sikuwa najifunika na towel nikitoka wakati mwingine bathroom. And then I remember Mama, I used to take care of Mama and the special son, Said, and Mama used to help Said take a bath because he was special. He couldn't do much for himself. So I remember whenever I'll not wear a towel going back to when coming from the bathroom. The next day I would meet Mama and Said doing the same. I felt imitated. Nikiamka nifungulie maji, niende choo nifungulie maji, wakati mwingine unajua maji ukiweka kwa ndoo inapiga kelele. And I would think people are asleep, maybe niweke venye ita make noise. Niki make noise, nayo shosha ataamka. The next few minutes afanye the same. I felt like it was an imitation. And in my last episode, you can hear the things I thought and the things that changed. For example, when I was in Saudi, one thing that changed for me is the way we would stay in the house. Saudis eat the same food. It's the same routine, day in, day out, especially for the woman. It's monotonous. Now look at me, and that's why I came to appreciate watu wenye tunapenda maju. Things look beautiful. People, it's like the internet. Mtu atakuonyesha wakati ameweka ka makeup, amechapa, lakini hata kuonyesha wakati alikuwa analia jana. Unaona? So the things that photographs present, the things that the internet present about other places, there is no magic anywhere. There is no magic in America. There is no magic in Saudi. People are living, and that's why I kept saying, like, when I was there, the sibling rivalry, like, who is bringing what, who is going to pay for what, there was that even in Saudi. There were sibling things, like, who is going to buy what this month, you know. Life was so real. Life was real. And I was like, there is no magic anywhere. And one of the things when I was trying to get where the problem comes in Saudi, I was like checking. Some of them are not very well off, and that is the truth. Because I thought the whole Arab country is Arab money. So I was like, if someone is sparing their cash from their budget to accommodate you, na uende na ujinga huko, unaweza uawa, unaona? Juu mtu anajilipia ni sacrifice anafanya, akupeleke huko. Life is real everywhere. There is no magic anywhere, and that is one of the lessons I have learned. I don't know which number of the lesson this is, but I will continue saying, I hope this is not the end of my lessons from my Saudi experience. There is no magic anywhere. Life was as real as anywhere else. There were also people just doing life. The normal issues of life, like nani and like even the way husband and wife said, nani ananua sukari this time around. Those were the same issues in Saudi. There is no magic anywhere, my ladies and gentlemen. Do you hear my people? So, and life doesn't happen overnight. Anyway, I don't want to jump over. So, there were so many instances, like the way I would look at my phone, think I thought I would drive, and then the next day I'm invited to drive. This was suspicious. If these people they have special powers, if they are not, and that's why most guys there have a craze about being hacked. Nobody's hacking you. These people know you very well. Like Saudi is a special place, you know. And as sometimes I regret and say now nilikuwa ninaenda kukua mbochi, I am reminded of the way we have gratitude issues. For example, there's a possibility I could have walked. I would have gone in heaven alive, you know. Met everything that a human being looks forward to know. I know it. And here I was feeling disadvantaged, being a maid. To be grateful for those small opportunities you get. But anyway, I'll continue getting deeper into this. This episode was about now the expectations you have versus reality. Saudi women don't drive that much, and if you drive, women that are very hard-headed in Saudi are the ones that, and they used to come to me, they used to hear like there's another one who is hard, because also you can see clearly I used to express myself so seriously because I would wear what normally I would feel like nimemiss kuvaa venye navaa home, nauliza, is it okay if today I wear like I'm at home? And they would say okay. Then you can see even from the pictures I've attached, I was free. I was being allowed to express myself, and hey, my Saudi family, I'm grateful for that. I was not, for example, I remember the monotony of staying in the house all day, every day without, they don't go to church, women, they don't do anything, just cook, eat, repeat. Pengine, they make up, and you know, even in Saudi, the social media is very controlled. They don't access everything. There is no Facebook, for example, in Saudi. WhatsApp is limited. They use Snapchat. Maybe what they do is just they used to come and we used to play house, you know, to Najirembesha, and some of them used even to imitate how I was doing my makeup, and I was like, okay, I'm glad we are getting, I felt embraced, you know. People I had come to fear, I had gone there fearing they were growing on me, all of them. And as much as Baba was tempting me, I was like, I didn't want, even without the danger of dying, I had liked all of them so much. And I would hate to look at any of them in the eye and have done them wrong. I wanted to maintain a relationship because I was feeling everywhere I was going, I used to live in bad blood, and I was determined not to live bad blood again. So, let me check the hard pointers. So anyway, another incidence of feeling like I was being checked is in Saudi, I was lonely. I'm a girl who was almost 30 years old, who had seen so much on the internet, had ideas here and there. Like, one of the ideas I got while growing up, and this is one of the things I have to ask about, was pleasuring myself. If you know what I mean, everybody knows this. Sometimes I'll get temptation, going to the internet. It had been long, and growing up as a lady, I explore. I'm a curious person, like every one of us out there. I think it comes with age. Miaka ingine ikifika utajipata uki-explore other things. So I'm a person who had, being 29, I had already explored something. So once in a while I'd go into the internet and start being provoked to have thoughts to pleasure myself. And I remember one time when I was getting ready, I would even go to the fridge and look at some of the food there and think about it, but I was like, no. And then I'd go to the room, and when I was about to start the action, Mama would come to the door and say, Shaitani! And I was wondering, does she know what I was about to do? Does she know what I was about to do? And I remember this happened a lot. And one time I used to go through with it because anyway, I was in my room. I had gone to a place where I had completely sacrificed the only way I had known how to live free. So I was like, I'm in my room. They should give me space to my room, because I was feeling like, I started feeling, unajua, and Google kept saying there are hidden cameras everywhere, they see you. And I was like, vitu zingine hata mtu akiniona niko like, atajua hata mimi ni mwanadamu, itafanyika nini? But anyway, these habits, because one of the things that gave me stress when I was living is I felt threatened they would expose some of my videos or pictures because they were acting like they had them. And that was making it hard to live, because I was like, now, mkiwa huku yenye muone tu picha tu wangu nikifanya vitu zingine. I had to be comfortable with that. And that's why, because they were using that to hold me hostage, and I was like, kwani nani afanyangi hizi vitu? Nani hajui human anatomy? Nani hajui biology? Mimi mkipatana na video zangu huku nje kama zitalikiwa, mimi niko sawa. I'm a human being who has lived here, like only being 100% human and nothing else. And I was thinking, it is good to have good habits. And the first time I knew about pleasuring myself, I was about 9 or 10. And I read these from some Wahindi walikuwa wamevisit Longono Primary pale, and they donated some books. And one of the privilege of being a mtoto wa mwalimu, my mom was the head teacher, and she used to tell me, hey, I'll give you, and mom knew, everybody knew at home, I loved reading. So I would get the privilege of packing the books in the library. Watu wa Longono, hata mlikuwa mnajua mko na library. I knew, and I used to organize it. And one of the things that I came across was a book that was encouraging me to know my sexuality, to explore my body. And I remember being introduced to ways of pleasuring myself from a book I read that was donated. And I was like, one of the issues I'm about, because I'm thinking someone should have protected me. I shouldn't have felt the way I felt, because one of the stresses that gave me sleepless nights is thinking my pictures would be. And this became, I remember that time was around when Tiwa Savage also, there was a video of her leaked when she was just doing what all of us do. And there were hints everywhere, and that's how I used to relate with the internet. And up to today, the internet, there are things I read in the internet that they happen. Sometimes I nasomanga kitu na najua hii happen, and it happens. I have my relationships with things, my life is not the way it used to be before I left Saudi. Something has changed. And this is why I'm sharing my story. So I'm like, somebody should protect us and the way we are oriented to how we are introduced to the relationship with our bodies and sex, the right way to engage with yourself, so that hata usipate tabia zinaweza kufanya one day ukikuwa mahali pengine mtu akuwe na kamera upatikane utakufa, unaona. And I was thinking, like, for example, I'm on the internet. Sometimes I go to Facebook and there are pornography clips everywhere, and I'm like, that is not what is on my mind. But when I get that, I'm provoked, and I'm like, but there's a government that can shut down the whole internet. Why isn't the bodies zenye ziko na authority ya kumanage what reaches our young people, or everybody anyway? Everybody can be victim to this. Ukiona picha hizo kama za porn huko, anybody who is an adult will be provoked to have bad thoughts. So who is protecting us in the internet? Because the internet is good, but it needs to be regulated. For example, sometimes I go to Facebook, and that's all that there is, like 1 million pictures of porn, and I'm like, why? And then you will come and say, I'm the bad one, I'm the one with bad habits, and I'm being provoked left and right. And there are people who can ensure we are being well oriented, and only the good information is reaching us. So the government and regulation, what are you doing about it? So I thought about that when I was in Saudi, and I thought about where I had picked those habits, and I thought also maybe in schools, this is a wake-up call also to schools. If something is donated, take time to go through it, take time to filter it, take time to know if it is good content that can reach. Is it age appropriate to the kids you have? Take time to filter out, because now I was given that opportunity to filter, and I even remember carrying that book home, and that's all I could read, and that's how I started pleasuring myself as early as 9. Somebody needs to take responsibility for these things, so that we are well oriented to habits, to form relationships with our bodies that will not make us targets of victims of being shamed. And I thought I would talk about that. And I remember also when I would stay in the house for a long time and tumekaa bila kwenda out, Baba would come and start and initiate a way for us to go out, and I used to love it. When I would go out, I'd go to the mountains like this, because also Saudi is very mountainous. I'd take pictures. This Baba used to cook. That day he would cook, I would enjoy his food. I would not cook that day. I would go back and relax, and it was so fun. And I had not asked. The moment, every time I used to think that tumekaa bila kwenda out, the next day would come and would go out. I felt watched. I felt listened to. It was suspicious as a person who is always walking through life very, very alert. I'm a very... alert person. Another thing is, I continued living in Saudi is now I had my data. I had formed friends. We could call each other on the internet, on Saudi line. We would beat stories. I was getting used to it. I was thinking now, I was preparing and saying, hey, sasa naona I have created a good rapport with everyone. We are friends. Sasa nilikuwa like, sasa naona end of my contract. Well, I had managed. I was determined. I was seeing myself acing this. The only problem that was being is the temptation from Baba and my feelings for him. I had developed feelings for this man. And this is what made me leave before my contract ended. This was also me saying there was a lot of adjusting for me, because hiyo venye wa mama haonani na wa baba, mi nimelelewa na boys tukisit next, so even me going at Baba was not a big deal to me, but it was a big deal. And that's why girls die, because of culture shock. it is a big deal in Arabs. The Arabs. Kuna vitu Arabu wanafaa watuambie. I'm here just saying. Arabs know things we don't. They are so strict with everything around the Arabic area. They are so strict with everything. Anything can be a crime there. And that's how I live now. I tell you, I take care of even the color of clothes I'm wearing. I'm living awfully, But before I jump ahead of the story, this was just to say, I felt watched. I felt people were responding to what I was thinking. More instances of being responded. Me expressing myself and thinking. I'm posing this question to you as my listener. Do you think as women we don't have feelings? Why do men think we don't have feelings? For example, Saudi men expect me to be covered all the time when we meet. But they come like that. Sometimes they remove their kanzus and they would walk around with shorts. And I was like, they are beautiful men. What? Do they think I'm a rock? For example, I'm saying the face, Baba was so handsome, I started having thoughts about him. They can also, so if we are protecting each other, I think if I wear an abaya, you will have also to introduce an abaya for men, to be fair. Because if I'm doing the hard work of withstanding temptation, then you as a man, you should also allow me to express myself without telling me I'm provoking you, I also get provoked all the time, but I take care of it. So I think men should work harder not to restrain us and constrain us with the mode of expression of dressing, because women are beautiful. Sometimes I say I walk and I see everything I see outside here is how I can wear that, and I feel good. And one of the things I feel good about being home is the way I have freedom of wearing what I like. People can have self-control, and it's not only a man problem. We also have self-control problems. So when a man keeps showing up and tempting me, I can fall into temptation. So I'm learning how to relax. I'm having a good rapport. I kissed Baba and still nobody has. And I could tell this is not the way he's used to getting affection. I think Arabs are very conservative people when it comes to sexual interaction. I could tell. Me, I'm a person who's exposed to movies. I'm very researchy. I know stuff, honestly. So when Baba came to me thinking he's showing me, I also showed him I could show him a few things. And I think he fell for it. This man was seriously starting to act in love, and that was like it is the thing that started to kuniweka woga. This man used to act out of control. I think he liked me. I think we are starting something that everybody was aware of and had accepted, and I could read it from everybody's reactions toward me. People who were so distant started to be so close to me. Even Baba's wife. There's an episode where I talked about where Baba's wife even I used to exercise, started losing weight, started going to the gym. She started also being overly friendly to me, So could I settle in Saudi? Was my story going to be a good one? And I'll say deeper about how the things I have learned about maintaining relationships, all kinds, romantic, family, all kinds of relationships, because as human beings you need relationships to survive. But this episode I'm only asking, is it wrong for a woman to also express her emotions? Does the moment I express my emotions attract a death penalty? Because even back home, mwanaume anaweza, unajua kila kitu anafanyanga, lakini wewe simu yako ameclone. You cannot do anything with your phone. It is cloned. You can't even receive a message without him knowing. And I'm like, wewe acha nikwambie, why I am having difficulties being in relationship, because I don't like feeling like I'm being controlled or managed. I like feeling free, the way I have left you to be free. For example, I can know you have a girlfriend somewhere and I'm okay with it. I also expect you to know I'm also human. So the time I might fall, I expect you to extend the same grace I extend to you. The same, So I'm like, the moment kwanza mimi nalani, you don't give me privacy on my phone. And you keep following my stuff. I'll also follow you around all day, every day. Nitakufuata siku mzima ama mwezi mzima. Ukienda job niko hapo. Hivi, ukifanya kazi yako na kushindililia, alafu ndio tuambiane. Should we trust each other and let trust work, or should we keep tabs on each other? And why do men not accept the things they put us through to them? What makes them special, Because I was so touched by girls who die because they make mistakes in Saudi or any of the Arab countries, They come back having been mutilated, and the men are just there, okay, because it's the woman the only. Is everything bad made by women? And even in the Bible, when Adam and Eve ate the apple, it's the woman who was punished. So there's an interesting relationship between God and the view of woman, and also how women are treated. And that's why, if you are following me, I keep saying, the way there's strictness of handling women in Saudi, and I felt like Saudi was a man cave. That's why I'm relating Saudi with being heaven, honestly. Keep tuned.